recording first.
Nice. We get a video release. We got to sign.
That's right.
Keep it official. So if Toastmasters sells this and make $1 million, I can't come back and say it was recorded without my permission.
Right.
All right. All yours, Tanisha.
All right. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first Wednesday webinar. I am your host, Tanisha Jackson. We are going to be talking about moments of truth today, and I'm going to introduce our team. So my role today will be the host. I will also be monitoring the chat, and I will also be the timer, making sure that we all stay on time. This webinar is set to be no longer than an hour. And I want to introduce to you Steve Lanham. He is going to be taking care of any IT issues, as well as he has some announcements for us near the end of today's session. Steve, you want to say hello to everyone?
Hi, everybody. Good to be here.
And next we have Michael Pope. He is also our IT person. Michael, you want to say hello to everyone?
Hello, everybody.
And last but not least, we have our awesome presenter, Johnny Randolph, who is going to be presenting the moments of truth. You want to say hello?
Hi, everybody.
All right, just a few ground rules before we move to the presentation. This meeting will be recorded. Please put yourself on mute if you are not speaking. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. I'll be monitoring them and jumping in periodically to let Johnny know about the questions. But this will be an engaging session, so Johnny is going to be asking various questions, and you're allowed to unmute yourself at that time. We also will be sending out evaluation forms, and I believe it's going to be sent through the chat and email as well. We appreciate your feedback. And with that, I'm going to introduce to you Johnny Randolph. Johnny Randolph is passionate about speaking. He relishes any opportunity to motivate people to achieve their goals. Johnny is a graduate of Kentucky State University, where he earned a Bachelor of Arts in Business Administration and Accounting. Johnny joined Toastmasters in December of 2013, where he discovered that with a commitment to excellence and hard work, anything is possible. He has led 2 Toastmasters clubs to distinguished status. He has won multiple speech contests and received the Distinguished Toastmaster Award. He loves working with people and seeing them transform into powerful and confident speakers. That's what inspires him. Please welcome Johnny Randolph.
All right. Thank you, everybody. And Tanisha, thank you for that generous introduction. I'm going to start sharing my screen here momentarily. All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Moments of Truth, District 40. Just to follow up with Tanisha, like I said, my name is Johnny Randolph. I am currently the DCP and Moments of Truth chair for District 40. In addition, I am a podcaster. My podcast is called The Purpose Podcast. It's available wherever podcasts are downloaded, or you can look at it at thepurposepodcast.buzzsprout.com. And in addition, if you have any questions about the material that has been discussed here today, please do not hesitate to reach out to me via email at johnny.randolph@gmail.com. To start off, I want to ask everybody a question. And please answer. Please feel free to put the answer into your chat, or you can just hit your reaction button with the thumbs up. Have you, when you joined Toastmasters, did you join because you wanted to enhance your communication or public speaking, or gain more self-confidence when you're speaking, or even develop some leadership skills? So please, in the chat or with the reaction button, is that true for anybody out there? Tanisha, do we got anybody saying yes? I see some thumbs up. Okay.
No comments yet.
Okay.
Develop
Well,
leadership.
okay. Well, I see that some people did answer, and that's great. And it makes sense. Toastmasters is one of the world's largest organization devoted to communication and leadership. And if you joined for any of those reasons that I just asked you, you are tightly in line with the Toastmasters Club mission statement, which is, we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. It makes so much sense that if you join Toastmasters, you are now aligned with the mission statement. That's the purpose of the mission statement, is to clarify what our aim is and what Toastmasters offers to people. Now, you know, without me telling you, that there is a lot going on in the world. It's COVID, rising unemployment, social change. And I am not going to touch on any of those topics. This is not a political discussion. I only mentioned them to state that these conditions have had influence on the composition of our clubs. We were talking about it earlier. Some people aren't signing up. Maybe they've lost their job. Some of the negative impacts also, we're not meeting in person. We're not getting that personal interaction. But since we've moved to this virtual environment, there are some benefits. One of those benefits is, we were talking beforehand, you can recruit members from anywhere in the world. There's no boundaries. You can go to any club across the world. No boundaries. And if you're a SAA, you don't have to load your car with all that equipment and break it down and take it back. So it's a balancing act, right? We're balancing the good with the bad, trying to survive our clubs. Now, while we're trying to juggle everything around, we don't want to lose track of the mission statement. Because if we're becoming better speakers, better leaders, more swagger with your self-confidence and personal growth, that's what's making you better. Now, the great question that we have to ponder is, how do we know if we're fulfilling the mission statement? Toastmasters has a great tool to measure the effectiveness of if we're moving towards achieving the mission statement, and it's called the moments of truth. The moments of truth is not an extra item in your Toastmasters to-do list. A moments of truth is not a smack on the wrist because, you know, your club did something wrong. A moments of truth is a metric to measure how well that your club is doing. It's not about your area director or your division director. It's specific to your club. A moments of truth can help you to achieve those goals of developing better communication skills, better leadership skills, creating that positive and supportive environment. Now, the idea behind a moment of truth is that every moment is a moment of truth is an episode and where a person comes in contact with any aspects of the Toastmasters experience and forms an impression on the club's quality and service. A moment of truth does not have to be limited to just Toastmasters. For example, a personal reason. Yesterday, I was running up the stairs and I was out of breath. And I came to a moment of truth that I need to get back into the gym, right? Either I was going to stay out of shape and fat, or I was going to get back into gym and running. It's a moment of truth. It just went off. And there's another example in business where I once worked with a person. She was the most efficient person in the department. She got the highest scores. She had the best productivity, the best reviews, but she was very comfortable in where she was doing. Well, her manager left the company. And so she was very comfortable in what she was doing. She didn't want to try out for anything. Well, when they revealed the new person to replace her boss, it was a person on her team who she trained, who she was better than, who she had more productivity than. Now, she couldn't get mad because she never applied for the position. But when that happened, it was a moment of truth. Do I stay here stagnant or do I pursue higher opportunities? And that's really what a moment of truth is. Anytime that we come in contact with Toastmasters, we want to leave an impression. We want to have a moment where we think, how can I improve with this? And we do it by focusing on 6 principles. Those principles are first impressions, membership orientation, fellowship, variety, and communication, programming, planning, and meeting organization, membership strength, and achievement recognition. Now, let's explore this first one, first impressions. We've all heard the cliche, you never get a second chance to make what? A first impression. And there is a lot of truth to that. With the first impression, it really is all about the guest. Most of the time, it's a new person who's never heard of Toastmasters, but there are instances where they're guests to meeting, where they've been a Toastmaster in the past, they want to rejoin again, or they're a member of one club and they want to join another club, and they're just evaluating everything's out there. But most of the time, it is a person who's never been to Toastmasters. And when you come to a Toastmasters meeting, a lot of us has been in for a very long time and we can't remember, but we don't know what to expect. A first-time guest doesn't know what to expect. And Toastmasters is not normal. It's overwhelming, right? You come in, people are throwing out all these terms, DTM and ACS and pathways. And what the heck is a table topics? Like everything is just coming after you and you don't know what to expect. I remember one person that I know, they came in and they saw all the clapping. They thought it was a cult. They didn't know what to expect. They were ready to leave. So a Toastmasters experience for a first-time person is overwhelming. As a club, though, it is our job to create that positive and supportive learning experience. And even though they're overwhelmed and don't know everything that's going on, they feel special. They feel like this is a place that can add value to my life. And there are ways that we can show a good first impression. These are some tips here. I'm not going to read all of them, but think about it. Greet your guests warmly. Your VPM or anybody, when you recognize a new person, even on a virtual experience, hello, welcome to Toast What Matters. What brings you out here today? Blah, 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 blah. Well, when our meeting gets started, I'm going to introduce you. I want to make you sure you're prepared. I want to put you on the spot. Okay. Have your president do that at the beginning of the meeting. Allow your guests to address the club at the end of the meeting. What did you think about what you saw? This is how we are. Invite them to join. Identify who's the VPM or the person that can help them to join a meeting. A first impression is important. Back to that mission statement, we want to cultivate an environment that is positive and supportive for those first impressions. And that is extended to not only a guest who's never been a Toastmaster, but a guest who's familiar with Toastmasters to get them to come back. First impressions are a moment of truth. And now that we've got them as a guest, we want to convert them into a member. They've paid their $45. We want to show them immediately, our club, we want to show them immediately that that $45 investment was worth it. Now, personally, I think $45 for everything that we get out of Toastmasters or $90 a year is a very small price. I've seen communication seminars that are 3 weeks that are in the thousands of dollars, literally. But we still want that person to feel valued, that their investment is worth it. And I think that every club should have a formal induction ceremony, every single club. And when you induct them, you want to assign a mentor immediately, because a formal induction ceremony is the first act of hospitality that a club extends to their new member. It lets them know that you are now one of us. You're a part of this community, this club, this family. And do not be afraid to use words like family, community. And we see the other items that are here too. These are all important. Make sure they know the education program, the learning, discuss things with them. This is what we do to orientate a member. And now, once we've orientated them, they know they're one of us. And Toastmasters clubs, you don't just have to talk about Toastmasters. I have made some of the best friends that I have in my Toastmasters clubs. And we don't necessarily talk about Toastmasters. We talk about things outside of Toastmasters, our family. We talk about vacations, about going things. Make your club enjoyable as well as educational, because this is something that I've observed in the 7 years that I've been here. People join Toastmasters for the skills that they can acquire. Those public speaking, communication, self-confidence. And if it was exclusively about the skills, if you finish one path, you are probably a better speaker than you already thought that you would ever be. Or if you finished your CC manual, you're probably a better speaker than you thought that you would ever be. People join for the skills, but they stay for the experience. They stay because they feel special when they come to a Toastmasters clubs. I've heard several of you say, I'm in 2 or 3 clubs. You're just not joining those clubs just, because you think you need to give that many speeches. There's something at those clubs that attracts you. I'm right now in 4 clubs, and I try to explain to my wife why I'm in 4 clubs, because I say every club has something different that attracts me, right? 1 is my professional development. 1 is like my family and my friends. 2 is my strong evaluation. So each club that experience is what keeps me going. And this is something you want to do. You want to make sure your club is a fun place to go to. Newsletters, inter-club events, participation in area and district events. If we go back to our mission statement, to improve our communication and leadership skills, participate in district events, contests. If you're a speaker in a contest, it will push you farther than you ever imagined. But you don't have to be a speaker. There are leadership roles in there. They need chairmen, food chair, well, when we were meeting in person. They need sergeant at arms. They need ballot counters. These are all events that are going to enhance your communication and leadership skills. Your club should be encouraging people to participate in these events. And moving on, once you're having your fun, you have variety, You want to make sure that your meetings are organized and planned well. Start meetings on time. If your meeting says it starts at 7, just start at 7, right? But if you say it starts at 7:05, maybe you allow a grace period. If you allow a grace period, make that consistent every meeting. So if the meeting says 7 and you allow the 7:05, don't start at 7:07 one week, 7:03 the next week, 7:10 the week after that. Start at 7:05. That is your grace period. Meetings should have creative table topics and different events. As I said earlier, in my corporate club a couple of weeks ago, we showed all 3 of the world champions of public speaking from 2018, 2019, 2020. And I have a fairly young club, so they had never seen the best of the best. And it really gave them an idea of the possibilities that you can utilize your communication skills. And we gave them an opportunity to evaluate, a round robin evaluation. So some of them, they picked out some very good tips that world champions could improve on. And I thought that was very impressive. Evaluations, make sure that your club has evaluations. I always say that evaluation is a Toastmasters superpower, right? That's why we come here, to get that feedback to make us be better. Agenda sent out in advance. It helps us to be prepared and organized. And let's face it, sometimes we see somebody on the agenda that we really want to hear them speak. So that motivates us to come to meetings. Now, membership strength. COVID, as we talked about earlier, I'm just saying we joined this meeting a little earlier and we were doing some network. We know that COVID has had a major impact on membership strength. Ideally, 20 members is what's sufficient for a strong club. And little background, 20 members, it's measured that about 60% of members attend their meeting. This is just a Toastmaster metric. So if you have 12 people attend a meeting, if you have 20 people attend a meeting or members, 60%, that's 12 members. 12 members, that's enough for every single person who attends that meeting to have a role. And that's going to give you a strong club. But membership strength is something that we are all working on. I know one of my corporate clubs, what we did together, it's 2 clubs in the same building. We did a joint meeting. Just something to sort of see if it can help us with our membership. Promote the club throughout organizations, see if you can get sponsors, but I know COVID, it's just tough right now, and that's to be expected. And our last principle within the Moments of Truth is award recognition. I don't care what people say, they like awards. Some people would tell you, oh, I don't need that. Oh, I don't want that. You stop giving them the awards that they thought that they would deserve, and they are going to tell you about it. And I've seen it happen on multiple occasions. We stopped doing an award, and we said, the person came to us like, what happened to this? And we said, we stopped doing it because everybody complained. Well, I didn't complain. Yes, you did. I heard you. You complained. But everybody likes awards. Recognize your members' achievements as frequently as possible. They may say that they don't want to do it, but they will appreciate it. That's ribbons, trophies, sending recognition in your corporate clubs to your bosses. You can even do that in your community club. I know when I got my DTM, I got it through my community club, and they sent it to my boss. My boss's boss recognized me at one of our staff meetings, and I didn't even expect that. So recognize your clubs, and there's different ways that you can recognize your clubs. I know we had a quarterly recognition. It was called the Toastmasters Extraordinary Award, and the award was voted on by the membership. Every quarter, it would move from one person to the next person. So give ribbons, give trophies, certificates, send things to their boss. These are things that achievements that help a person to be recognized and value the club. That's what Toastmasters is. And that's what a moments of truth can do. Now, a moments of truth is designed to be an experience. I've seen some people, they sent the list in advance, ask people to fill it out, and then bring it to the club. No, you should have an organizer at your moments of truth. And they'll have a different take on how I explain the moments of truth, but it will be similar. And you want to go over each of these 6 principles with your club. It can be anybody can conduct a moments of truth. You can call me, I can come do one. Your president can do one, your VPE. People were talking about getting credit for projects. Doing a moments of truth, you can get credit for projects for doing a moments of truth. So you want to organize and understand all of the principles, all of the things about a moments of truth. And then from there, you are going to answer a questionnaire, and I'm going to excuse me, Michael. I am boy, got a little hoarse. I'm going to bring up the chat here. I'll just right here. So with our moments of truth, it has a worksheet that accompanies each of the moments of truth. And it is the same 6 principles. Can you guys see this? Can you all see that? Not really? Okay. Let's see here.
We can only see your PowerPoint.
Oh, you can only see the PowerPoint, really? Okay. Well, let's stop. I'm gonna stop sharing then. And one second. Technical difficulties. Can you all see it now?
Yes.
Okay. So a moments of truth comes with this handout. And this handout correlates to the 6 principles that I discussed. And right here are some of the tenets of how to achieve the principles. For example, the first impression is guests greeted warmly and introduced to an officer or a member. So what we do with this is we rate them. We rate them on a system of 1 through 5. 1 being we never meet this standard. We rarely meet the standards. We sometimes meet the standards. We usually meet the standards. We always meet the standards. When you're conducting a moments of truth, you want to go through and assign a numerical quality to each of these rules. Now, some of them, they're more targeted towards pre-COVID, not the virtual environment. And what I'm going to do, I had my own moments of truth where I realized I need to make changes to this to accommodate some of the changes that we are experiencing with COVID. As I said, a moments of truth, it can be used within Toastmasters and without Toastmasters. But this form out here identifies these 6 principles. And what we do is we rate each of the principles from 1 to 5, 1 being the worst, 5 being that we do it all of the time. Now, after we do that, we allow 10 to 15 minutes, depending on how big your club is. You can break it up into groups. You can break it up into groups of 2, where you assign 2 people each of the principles. You can give them, since we're meeting virtually, you can separate them into break rooms, have them work on it for 5 or 10 minutes, how your club operates based on these principles right here, and then you come back. Once you have gone through and filled out all of these, for the items that are 3 and below, you all come all the way down here to the bottom and you write down specifically the problem that you have. And once you write down all of the problems that you have, your club, you can discuss it. And the thing about Toastmasters is it's a safe space. But in order for a Moments of Truth to be effective, we have to be honest. We cannot sugarcoat it because a Moments of Truth is not designed to make everybody feel great. We always want to exercise respect, which is one of the core values of Toastmasters, but also integrity is one of the core principles of Toastmasters. And whenever we do a Moments of Truth, we have to be honest. And because if we're not honest, why are we doing it? As I said earlier, the Moments of Truth is something that helps to measure how well we are moving towards our mission statement. And if we are not being honest in how we feel or what we are observing, then we can't make the changes. Now, I know I focused a lot on the items 3 and lower, but also talk about your strengths. If you are great at membership orientation and you're getting 5s, you're writing 5s, talk about it. Because what you don't want to do is start to get lazy and not put forth the same effort. As I said earlier, it's a balancing act. It's the strengths and the negatives. And that's what a Moments of Truth is used to identify. So we write down how we feel each of the principles are being conducted in our meetings. We discuss the items that are 3 and less. We also discuss the ones that are 5s. And then we turn in our Moments of Truth to whoever is conducting it. They give it to the officers, and the officers start to develop strategies to identify how to improve the areas where we are weak in and actions to sustain where we are strong in. Now, a Moments of Truth is a collaborative experience, as I said. If you do a Moments of Truth and you don't hear anything back after three months or a long time period, as I always tell my clubs, a Toastmasters club is not the officers club. It is not the area directors club. It is everybody's club. And if you feel that you brought forth an issue and it wasn't responded to or it wasn't addressed as a member, you should hold your leadership accountable. Feedback, my boss used to say, is a gift. So we always want to give feedback of how we think things are going or to get a response. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Moments of Truth experience. It is designed to help us provide a positive and supportive learning experience in which members feel empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Our club mission statement, it will help us to move towards that direction. Now, you have listened to me talk for a very long time.
You have a question, Johnny.
Sure, and that's what I was saying. Who has some questions?
So Tracy has a question. How do we handle items that are not applicable due to COVID? Do we still list them as a challenge?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because as I said, I have my own Moments of Truth as the Moments of Truth chair and DCP chair, and I need to get a form that's updated that reflects more of the challenges that we have in COVID. And that's something that I'm going to be doing and starting to send it out to all the clubs. But yes, if when you get down to that part where you fill in where you think things are not good and it's not necessarily addressed in the 6 principles or the questions, feel free to write that in, because that's what a Moments of Truth is designed to do.
And I want to add, going back to the first impressions, I've also visited quite a few clubs from around the states, and some of them are not as welcoming to guests. I know one club, they waited to the end to allow the guests a chance to talk and welcome them. And I didn't think that was a good idea, because what if the guest has to leave early? So I think it's definitely important to acknowledge your guests at the beginning of the meeting as well as at the end.
Yeah, I think your president should welcome your guests. One, it says something. It says like, it's important. The guest is important. At the beginning of the meeting, the highest officer in the club is taking the time to recognize you. I absolutely agree with you, Tanisha.
And we have another question from Facebook. Do you suggest doing the Moments of Truth as a club, or have the members fill out the form and the VPE collected?
I recommend doing it as a club. It's an experience, and you don't want, like, some people might not fill it out. Some people might be absent. I just think it's better if you do it as a club, as an experience. You go over and you explain the 6 principles. You talk about how the principles of the Moments of Truth, how it helps you to fulfill the mission statement: being a better communicator, being a better leader, self-confidence, your own personal goals, your own personal growth. It's just a metric. So doing it together helps you talk about the issues and present a resolution. I think you should talk about them and then turn it over to your officers or your VPE and let them work on developing the strategy. And as people and members in the club, hold your officers accountable. Where are we with the issues that we discussed in the Moments of Truth?
I agree. And I will add to that, I think it's a good team building exercise too.
Yep. And like we said, you can get credit for doing a Moments of Truth, right? I mean, you have those projects and pathways and things like that. Use it. Work smarter, not harder. Don't go. If you can do a Moments of Truth within your club, don't go out looking for other things. We have projects right in Toastmasters that can help you.
And our next question is from John. How do you suggest handling situations in which only a few officers try to do everything well, and the MOT, Moments of Truth, seems to imply they should do even more, and members who tend to be passive but are quick with demands seem to want even more from those same few officers?
Well, the Moments of Truth, it talks about organization, planning for our meetings. And if that is an issue where you feel like a person, the officer themselves feels like only a couple of people are doing their job, I really think that's a president issue. To take it to the president. It's the president's job. I mean, they literally sworn in that they are the strength of the club. You know, they're to talk to clubs, to settle disputes, those types of things. So let your president know those types of things. And the president, him or her, should address those issues. Because yes, if you get a club where you're the president, you're the VPE, you're part-time secretary, you're collecting money all the time, you're early there setting up, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. And you're going to have a negative club experience. It's not going to be supportive, and it's not going to be positive. It's not moving towards achieving that mission statement. So if you're doing all of that, you absolutely should have a Moments of Truth to figure out why you're the only one doing those things. So absolutely. If you feel like the officers are not completing those roles, then a Moments of Truth is definitely warranted. And a Moments of Truth, I think, should be done at least one time a year. I think twice a year. I think this is a good time to do it because we really just had our elections a couple of months ago. We're right there at that renewal period. So we could have a Moments of Truth now, and then towards the end of the term, evaluate how well we progressed since that first one. So I think one, definitely. I think two is going the extra mile.
Okay, and then we have a question from Steven. I've seen situations where one of the officers have conducted the Moments of Truth, and that person spent a lot of time defending how the club performs during the Moments of Truth presentation. How would you address that?
That's interesting. I guess I'd want to know, is it an officer that's doing that? Offline, Tanisha, give me that question again, and I'll think about it and get back with that person. Because right now, I don't want to make up answers, and that's something that I want to think about. So please send me that person's name, and I'll reach out to them offline.
Okay. The next one, Gail wants to know, can you speak about acknowledging corporate clubs where the culture intersects differently with community clubs? How flexible can you be as the executive committee?
That's interesting too, Gail. And the reason that I say that is, you said corporate clubs. Every corporate club has its own culture. And so to really be able to dig in there, we'd have to know what the culture is at that club. I was area director, and I was at Chase Clubs, and there was a club where there were people who really wanted Toastmasters, but their managers wouldn't support it. Because the reason their managers wouldn't support it is because they needed Toastmasters, and they didn't want to be in a club with people that reported to them, because that would be seen as a sense of weakness. That's a horrible culture. So how do you even surmount those challenges? I guess to really figure out like how to attack the culture of a corporate club, we first need to know what is the culture of that corporate club and how can we work around and navigate it. I know that went kind of offline and maybe didn't address your issue specific, but that's the one where I would want to start. What is the corporate culture? What do they permit? What don't they permit? And see how we can develop a plan around that. Hope that helps, Gail.
And Gail, if you want to elaborate any more, you're welcome
Yep.
to unmute.
Please feel free to. And trust me, Gail has no problem elaborating a little bit more.
We already know that.
Yes, you all know me. I already knew the answer to that question. I really just wanted you to speak to it, Johnny, because one of the things that we have learned even in our leadership training is to be mindful about the, let's see, I'm talking in the dark, to be mindful about the culture of a corporate club, because you don't want to lose them. By the same token, it's a happy balance between what's Toastmasters International policies and practices and what is the corporation's perception. So it's just a happy medium. And I just wanted you to be able to share that with everyone. And I think your response was appropriate, because we could lose those corporate clubs if we don't respect the culture of the corporation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've seen clashes between maybe like an area director and a club. They're trying to say it's the Toastmasters way and they're this way. So yeah, we have to be cognizant of how we engage with our corporate clubs, because they do have very specific rules and things like that, and we don't want to clash. We can risk them. You're absolutely right, man.
That's all the questions that are in the chat.
Okay. Well, everybody, thank you for coming out. I hope this added some value. I'm going to put the
Quick
right
question,
here.
Johnny.
Sure.
On the link that you provided at the very beginning for the Google Drive, there was two different ones. There's an online survey.
Yes.
So do the PDF versus the online?
Well, there's two links in there. One is the PDF for the moments of truth. It's the 6 principles, and it's got all the corresponding rules of how you can achieve these principles. And then the other one is the actual survey for what happened tonight. So if you click on the survey and finish it, it'll send it to Michael or Steve. It'll send it to one of you guys. I don't know.
Yeah, Tanisha and I get it.
Okay, yeah, they'll get it, and then they evaluate it, and then they send it to me and like, Johnny, here's where you messed up, and here's where you're good. This is where you need to improve. So that's how it's treated, Tracy.
Okay.
And please, I put it in there. Please go out there and fill out the survey, because as I said before, feedback is a gift, and evaluations are a Toastmaster superpower. We are not going to improve if we don't get candid and effective evaluations. All right, well, that's all my time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to turn it back over to our host, Miss Tanisha Jackson. She's probably got some more information for you. So please, let's give it a hand for Miss Tanisha Jackson.
All right, how about we give a hand to the real person who deserves it, Johnny Randolph. Thank you so much for presenting. Hopefully this is helpful. Remember, this is being recorded. It's going to be on the D40 website. Michael, is it going to be posted anywhere else?
It's on the D40 Facebook page, and it will be on the D40 YouTube channel.
Okay, YouTube channel and Facebook. All right.
Facebook group, I should say.
What did you say?
The Facebook group.
Okay, Facebook group. So make sure to spread the word. I encourage you to make sure that your members are subscribed to those platforms so they can stay informed of what's going on in the district. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Steve for some announcements. Steve.
Hi, everybody. Thank you very much, Johnny, for your presentation tonight. I think Moments of Truth is a very important tool that we can use in our clubs, just to kind of understand where we are, because if we don't take stock of where we are, we'll never figure out how to correct things that we need to work on, and we won't realize the strengths that we have that we want to leverage for the future. So thank you very much, and I hope everyone else got a lot out of it too. As far as announcements are concerned, we have two things coming up. One is the district council meeting coming up on Saturday. It's from 1 to, it says 4 o'clock. It'll probably be over by 3. We don't have a lot of business to take care of. But if you are a president or vice president of education of your club and you haven't registered for that district council meeting, please do so, because we need to have everyone we can there to have a quorum so we can vote on the business of the district. We need to approve a budget. We need to approve appointees like me as your public relations manager, or it gives you your chance to not vote for me and we find another one that could probably do a better job. So that's something that you can do at that business meeting. So just make plans to be there and register for that. You should have gotten an email. If not, reach out to me at publicrelations@d40toastmasters.org and I can get that information to you. The second thing is, for those of you that are in Dayton or Columbus areas, the quad will be taking a trip to both those cities on Saturday, September the 26th. From 10 to noon, we'll be in Dayton at, well, not Dayton actually, but in Vandalia at the Vandalia Senior Center. So we hand out awards that people earned this past year, like Triple Crown pins and some club awards like Level Up. And there's another one, get your club officer pins for having all 7 club officers trained. So 10 to 12 in Vandalia at the Senior Center, and then from 3 to 5 in Columbus. And I see if I can remember where this is going to be, at the Gahanna Lincoln High School. Those of you that live up in Columbus will know where that is. And I sent out I'll be sending out a message about that here probably in the next day or two. So be aware of that. And it also gives you an opportunity to see your current district leadership too. They'll have masks on, they'll have gloves on, we'll practice social distancing and all that, but you'll actually get a chance to see them and chat with them just a little bit as you drive through. It's going to be a drive-through, it's not going to be a congregation, and so we're going to try to respect the social distancing laws and masking laws that are in place. So, but those are 2 events that we have coming up, and in October we have our district fall recognition ceremony. I don't have the exact date in my mind, but it's in the third or fourth Saturday, I think, of October. So be aware of that too. And that's going to be for the entire district. That's where we'll announce things like the Toastmaster of the Year, the club president of the year, the division director of the year, and things like that, club of the year, whatever it is. There'll be some announcements like that and some other things that go on there. So those are 3 things that we have coming up that you might be want to be aware of.
Steve,
Thanks very much, Nisha.
October 17th.
October 17th, okay. There you go. I forgot to write that down. So thank you very much. That's all.
All right. Thank you, Steve. Okay, well, at this time, I'm going to give Michael an opportunity. Do you have anything that you want to share?
I do not.
All right. Well, I want to thank everyone for attending. I thank the webinar team, Johnny, Michael, Steve, for attending and helping make this a successful webinar. Make sure to stay in tune with the District 40 different social media platforms so that you can be aware of the different webinars that are coming up. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions or want to be part of any webinars, and make sure to just fill out the evaluation form. So with that, I'm going to say have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you. You guys have a